Okay, we are live. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm so excited that I get to actually show you my meals live. Okay, good. I'm looking in your comments already to see who's joining us. It looks like people are excited. Yay! Oh my gosh, Dee said it's 3:55 a.m. Dee, you are amazing. You are like really motivated to make some freezer meals. Thank you for coming. Hi, Margaret. Hey, Penny. Thanks for joining today. So, I am going to wait a few minutes to get started. I want everybody to have time to join us. I think we had about 2,000 people sign up. So, I don't want to get started till everyone's here. But as you join, I would love for you to leave a comment. I'm going to read through your comments. But if you want to say hi, I'd love to know where you're calling in from. I am in my kitchen, as you can see, in Pittsburgh, PA. It is almost 1 p.m. here. So let me know where you're calling in from. Hey, Janice in North Carolina. Good morning. Hello, hello. Also, I would love to know if you've made freezer meals before. So write something in the comments and say if you're new to freezer meals or if you've made them before and you're trying to get back into it or are curious about these bags and stacking them up in your freezer. Go ahead and leave a comment because I want to get a sense of how I can make this super, super helpful for you today. So let's see what everyone's saying. Carrie, hey from Chicago, Carrie. Thanks for calling in. Or joining in the web. I guess you guys aren't actually calling in. Hi, Kelsey. All right, Margaret said she's done a bunch of recipes. All right, sweet. Oh, Carolina gives me some love for Pittsburgh. Thank you. Wisconsin. Total newbie. Wonderful. I love this. Okay, so already we have a little mix of people who like freezer recipes and have made them before and people who are new to freezer meals. And I think that that's great. What I'm excited about doing a live class is that I can demonstrate everything you need to know to make these meals. And they are so easy. When you watch these, you're going to be thinking, why didn't I do this sooner? They really are very, very easy. So that's going to be perfect. If you are new, I am thrilled for you. Emmy is saying she's completely new to freezer meals. Let me tell you, Emmy, before we got started, I was thinking, I'm a little nervous about this because I'm going to be totally live. I've never taught a class like this before, never mind it could be 2,000 people who signed up. But I was thinking about people like Emmy who are joining me who have never made freezer meals before. And I thought, that just makes me really excited because freezer meals will change your life. So instead of worrying about myself and what I might say that would embarrass me, I am going to focus on all the people here who are going to learn something new and maybe learn how to make some really easy and healthy dinners because that is something I'm super passionate about. So we are going to wait to get started, probably wait another 5 minutes. I don't want to start until everyone has time to log in. If you just joined me, thank you. Welcome to my kitchen in Pittsburgh, PA. My house is very quiet. I do have 5 young kids. My husband, Andy, is here. He is handling all the tech stuff that I don't know how to do with live video. But our kids are either in school or we have a neighbor who's babysitting the littlest ones who don't go to school yet. So it's very quiet here. It's actually very peaceful in my kitchen. I feel very at home here. And I'm excited that I'm doing a class with you today. I would love for you to leave a comment. Let me know where you're calling in from. Also, if you have any experience with freezer meals, are you a newbie? Is this totally brand new to you? Or have you made them before and you're just excited to get some new recipes, maybe learn some new tips? I'm here for everyone and I'm going to make this as good as I can. So I'm just looking to see, okay, it looks like we had maybe some audio issues that are fixed. Wonderful. I want you to be able to hear me. Hi to Chicago. Thanks for joining me. Hi from Texas. Hey, Michelle. I get really excited when I see people's names and you share where you're from and just what you think about freezer meals or why you wanted to sign up today. Because I know you guys are busy and you don't just have extra time. So I am curious, what motivated you to take that time out of your day today to join me. I want to make this as helpful as I can for you. So let's see who else just joined. Hey, Tammy. Not far from me. You're right. Indiana, PA. Oh, wonderful. You made freezer meals for your sons for Christmas. That is a really, really nice gift. Like, that might be way better than a new sweater, would be some freezer meals. That's wonderful. I'm glad you have a little experience with freezer cooking, or maybe a lot. I'm sure your sons love that. Okay, I want to make some freezer meals to make our lives easier. Used to do this before. Great, love it. Mississippi, baby coming next Tuesday. Oh my gosh. All right, Whit, you got this. A lot of people tell me they do freezer meals before they go back to work after having a baby. So that's really, really common. Both women who are pregnant who want to freeze some meals and kind of get stocked up, and then also maybe after the baby is here when they're a little more alert and crawling all around, they need to simplify things a bit. So these are perfect. I have made freezer meals before and after having all 5 of my kids, and these are a lifesaver. So that'll be great to share. All right. What else can I see? Hello, Laura from Asheville, North Carolina. Thank you for joining me. I feel like I'm meeting all of you, like, for the first time, although I recognize some of these names, so I'm excited if you're joining and you already knew me before. I see people from all over. How fun is this? Someone doing Whole30. Becky, awesome. I have a ton of recipes that will work for Whole30. Really, a lot of the recipes will work for any diet. Most of them are naturally gluten-free, dairy-free. There are vegetarian ones. A lot of them can be modified for Whole30, or I have ones that are specifically written for the Whole30 diet. So I think if anyone here is on a diet, you're going to find recipes that work for you or can be easily modified. And that'll be great too if you're making recipes for one of your children or someone else who's on a diet. That'll be no problem. These meals are like really, really easy to modify. All right, Jim, freezer, ground beef, brown, frozen flat are my strong suit. Not mushy like soup. Oh my gosh, Jim, your life is gonna change because I am not gonna show you how to make like all mushy crock-pot recipes that taste the same. We're gonna have a lot of variety. I'm just going to wait just a couple more minutes. I know that almost 2,000 people had signed up for the class, so I do want to give everybody time to join in. And if you just joined in now, please go ahead, leave a comment. I'll see if I can see what you have a chance to share, but let me know where you're calling in from. Let me know if you have any experience with freezer meals, and I'd love to know if you have a reason for wanting to make them now too. That would be great. I love seeing everybody. Hey, Sandra. Thanks for joining me. I feel like you're all joining me in my kitchen. Like, this is some kind of party in my house. That's really fun. So thank you. A new stay-at-home mom needing all the help. Hannah, I feel you. I have 5 kids. My oldest is 10 years old, so I've been doing this for a long time, and I still need help. That's why I think I love freezer meals so much, is that they really do work. Like, this is not like some kind of quick fix that you try and then abandon tomorrow. This is one of those things that I just think, this is the only thing that works for me, and I am going to keep doing it. Just keep on keeping on, because they really do work. It's like a huge time saver, stress saver, really budget friendly. So yeah, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna make 6 healthy freezer meals. Okay, let me see if anybody else just joined. Melinda. Oh, some flops. That stinks. I'm so sorry you made some bad meals. There are a ton of crock-pot recipes on Pinterest. I don't know how many people here love Pinterest, but what I'm excited about is I'm only sharing recipes with you that I have made several times before. So first of all, these are recipes that I have made many times in the past. And then to prepare for today, I was making them a couple more times to practice. So I can promise you, if you make them and freeze them, they're gonna be delicious. You're going to love them. And you could even make 2 of each if you want to go big. I would fully support that and ensure you that you're gonna love these meals. Your whole family is going to like them. Hey, Brienne from Utah, thank you, welcome. Some Costco meals. Yes, you can save a lot of money if you shop at Costco. That's great. New recipes for Belle, you got it. I have 6 brand new healthy recipes to share with you that I'm really excited. Jenna from Plymouth, Massachusetts, welcome. Really excited that people are calling in from all over. So it's 1 p.m. here in Pittsburgh, PA. It's lunchtime. 2 of my older kids are in school full day. One of my daughters just went to kindergarten. The other 2 are at our neighbor's house. So it's unusually quiet here. This kind of feels like really fun when I get to do a class with a bunch of friends. I feel like you're all like hanging out in my dining room and I'm just going to tell you about these crazy freezer meals. I wish we could do it in person. But I do want to go ahead and get started. I really appreciate you taking this time out of your day. And I'm just so excited to share what I love so much about freezer meals. So here's my goal for this. I want you to leave this hour with everything you know to make these easy and healthy freezer meals. I want you to feel totally confident, prepared, and ready. Like you might make these meals later today or this weekend, but you're ready to jump in. I'm assuming you're already motivated because you're here today, but you're going to be even more excited and more motivated when you see how easy it is to make these meals. So that's how you're going to feel at the end of this hour. I am going to send you my recipes. So my husband created this really nice little PDF. This is my 6 healthy freezer meals in 1 hour for today's class. This has all 6 recipes that I'm going to demo. So don't feel like you need to take notes. You don't need to write down measuring sizes, anything. You can just relax, kind of like take in what I'm doing, pay attention to how I'm doing it or all the tips that I share. No stress. This also includes the full shopping list. It's really short. It's like less than 2 pages long. These are simple recipes. So you'll be able to print that or access it on your phone and get those groceries from the grocery store. And it has the labels if you want to put those on your freezer meal bag. So you really are going to be equipped to make these meals when you leave. And like I said, I will be sending this out, so check your email. Probably very soon after we end this class, I'm going to try and get that email sent out. So this will be a PDF file for free. Every single person gets it for signing up for the class. So I'm excited about that. Before I jump in, I want to tell you a little bit about my experience with freezer meals, why I did these in the first place. So if you don't know my story that well, my name's Kelly, and I live in Pittsburgh with my husband Andy, our 5 young kids. Now, I really got into freezer meals after we had our second daughter. So now we're probably going on like 8 years now. It doesn't seem like that long. But I remember at the time I was home with my daughters, and it just seemed like between working and cleaning and laundry, grocery shopping, cooking, we had no time for all the things that we wanted to be doing. It just felt like my entire day was full. So I really started brainstorming what I could do to create a little more space in our lives. And I thought, what if I prepped some dinners on the weekend and then during the week just made those so we had that extra time at dinner time? And I'm really good at organizing, so I thought, like, this is fine. I'm just going to plan these meals and make them. And during the week, I was just thinking, okay, this is my answer. I'm going to be going outside and I'm going to play with my kids. Instead of sending them outside, I'm going to go out with them. And I'm going to have time. I'm going to go and visit my grandparents because it felt like we didn't have time to do that. And I wanted to like go outside. I have a couple friends in the neighborhood. I thought we're going to walk, we're going to jog or run because I'll have that extra time at dinner time when I'm not cooking. So I was like lost in this daydream, really, really excited. And when it came back to reality, I thought, okay, what I'll do is I'll take my favorite crock pot recipes and I'm going to freeze them. And then whenever I need an easy meal, I'll just put it in my crock pot in the morning and then have that time at 5 o'clock or whatever to do whatever I want, this newfound time. And I had made freezer meals in the past, but they were mostly casseroles. Like, for example, lasagna. I would make that at Christmas time or for my daughter's birthday. But that took a lot of time to make, and they weren't always like the healthiest casseroles. So I figured by focusing on crock pot recipes, I could make them healthier, I could prepare them quicker, and then go about my day. So I started trying this out. I actually really love like creating new recipes and adapting recipes. So I started creating all these meals and like testing them, taste testing them, and they were amazing. They were like, it was exactly like the daydream it was coming true, where they were easy to prepare. I could make a bunch in less than an hour. And then I had that free time during the week. And when I found that I could make them healthy and they still tasted great, I started sharing them on my blog, The Family Freezer. And what I found is that a lot of other people was having the same problems as me. Like, they were busy. They needed this like shortcut to making a healthy meal and get it on the table. So it became really, really, really popular. And I ended up writing like cookbook ebooks and a membership site. And I've heard from so many people that this is helping them too, just like it's helped me. And that's why I thought a class would be really fun, that I could show you, like literally show you how I make these meals. And I just want to emphasize before we get started, what is different about my recipes than the other ones you're going to find on Pinterest or other places is that they really are all frozen raw. Like, there is no cooking ahead of time. You're going to see me prepare them here on my cutting board. There's no stovetop. So everything is frozen raw and then cooked later. And that will save you so much time in preparing these meals. It just makes it like very easy and doable. So, I think let's go ahead and get started, right? So again, I will send you all the recipes when we're done. The first thing we're going to make is this crock-pot lemon pepper chicken. Now, I am not trying not to look at your comments, but I know you're going to ask me, what are these holders? What's holding these bags upright? And I will tell you, when I started making freezer meals, I thought I had this genius invention idea, because I would be filling my bags and every once in a while, one would spill over. And I remember one time I had a whole jar of spaghetti sauce in here that just went down on my floor. So I thought, I need something that holds these bags upright. And like many other genius ideas, I went online and found it already existed. So I did not need to create these. Another company has. I don't work for this company. I actually own nothing for talking about them, or I don't get any money for talking about them. But these are called Jacari hands-free baggy racks. I buy them on Amazon. I have at least 10 of them. They're a slight addiction. I have put the link below this video. So if you end up wanting to buy these, you absolutely can. I love them. You do not need them. Don't feel like you need to buy anything fancy to make these meals. But if you're already all in, or you're kind of looking for little gadgets or gifts for someone, I would highly recommend these. I love them. Let's make our lemon pepper chicken. All right. Now, what we're going to do is start with the lemon. I went ahead and I washed all of my produce before we got started here today, so I wouldn't have to turn my back to you and go to my sink. But you'll just go ahead and like wash your produce. But I am going to add some fresh lemon juice to this freezer bag. And I want to point out that when I was planning these meals, when I was thinking of which 6 recipes I wanted to make today, I really wanted a variety of tastes and textures. I didn't want you to feel like you're eating soup every night, or you're having stew or pot roast, which is great. And I love making those in my crock pot. But I wanted you to see how there can be so much variety in these meals that you could eat them every night if you wanted to. All right, I'm adding some pepper and salt. These are so simple. Woo. Here's my salt lick. These are so simple that you're going to love these meals. Okay, so we're adding, this is just olive oil. And then the very last ingredient is chicken breast, but I'm going to wait to add that until the very end. So I have my raw meat in my fridge, so that way we don't have to have it sitting out at room temperature for very long. So all I'm going to do is add the other ingredients first. That's it. We already have number 1 prep besides the chicken. Let's move on to our next recipe. And this is the Asian chicken lettuce wraps. It calls for 1 red pepper. And we're just going to cut that up. I'm going to admit to you that I am not a perfectionist in any way when making these meals. Do not feel like you need to stress and cut everything perfectly, that every dice needs to be the same. It does not. The crock pot is super, super forgiving. And I think that's one of the things that helps me make these meals so quickly, is that I'm really not stressing over making it perfect. So just free yourself from that worry. Let yourself work quickly if you want to. I know you don't have a lot of time. So I'm just going to dice up that red pepper. I like to use as many fresh ingredients in my meals as I can. Just trying to make them healthy while tasting good at the same time. So we're gonna go ahead and add our red pepper to this bag. Now, another thing I did ahead of time was label my bags. Like I said, there are labels in the free printable that I'm going to send you. I printed them on sticker paper just because I already have some on hand. You don't have to do that. If you even want to print them on regular computer paper and then use clear packaging tape, you could tape them right to the bag. Or you don't have to do, oh, anyway, shredder. You do not have to use the labels. If you want to just write on the bag with a Sharpie marker, that's totally fine. I like the labels because it has the full ingredient list. So that's really nice. If you're making these meals for someone else, they can see exactly what's inside. And then the labels also tell you how to cook the meal. So after it's in the freezer, it'll tell you exactly how to cook it. And one of the things about this particular recipe is that it can be made in the crock pot or on the stovetop. I think there's even, I even have Instant Pot directions on there as well. So the little label includes all 3 options for cooking. Every single recipe that I'm going to share with you can be made in the crock pot. I love crock pot freezer meals because you come home and it's already done. But you don't have to. There's a lot of variety. So if you feel like you want that variety and want to do a quick stovetop meal, it's totally possible. If you love your Instant Pot and want to do that, no problem. You can do that too. So I really wanted you to have all the options with these meals. All right, we got our carrot. I didn't make a huge mess, right? Okay. The carrot's nice because it makes the dish a little bit sweeter and it really cooks down. It's not too crunchy. I just made this the other night. Like I said, I had practiced making these meals, so we've been eating them too. And my kids didn't mind the carrots and pepper because they were soft and part of the recipe. All right, so we have our carrot, we have our red pepper. I need to add soy sauce. Okay. And we have ketchup. These are all really simple recipes. You don't need to buy fancy ingredients. You probably already have a lot of the ingredients on hand. I went ahead and I kept track. When I made these meals, when I bought all the ingredients, I spent about $72 on ingredients. I already had the spices on hand. And that works out to $12 per meal with 6 servings. So that's $2 a serving. These really can be very, very affordable. And I will tell you, I spent a lot of money on meat. I was being a little bit more picky. So if you want to save even more money, 100% I would say shop meat sales. If you want to go to Costco and stock up on meat, I know they sell organic chicken breasts. You could do that and save a lot of money as well. Okay. I just added the honey, garlic powder, crushed red pepper flakes. Meal number 2. Done. Check. Okay. Let's move on to our salsa verde shredded pork tacos. This is what my family's eating for dinner tonight. We already have this in our crock pot. It's a really good recipe so that you can shred the pork and serve it on tortillas. A couple of my kids love tacos, so they'll do the tortillas. My one son, I only have one son, but he likes rice a lot, so he could just eat this over rice. And my husband and I love rice too, so we could do burrito bowls. I want to share a really good time-saving tip with you, and that is frozen diced onions. Look for them in the frozen section at your store. I spent $1 to buy a bag of these. It equals about 3.5 onions. So I usually substitute 1 cup diced onions for fresh, and then I don't have to peel and cut and chop, which isn't that bad day to day, but if you're making a bunch of meals, it'll just save you so much time, and then you're not crying while you're making the meals. And I just really, really love these frozen diced onions, so I would recommend buying those if you can. I just added some cumin. Now I'm going to add garlic powder. I do like using garlic powder in my recipes, sometimes instead of minced cloves. It's just a lot quicker, and then my hands don't smell. But you could use fresh garlic cloves if you really like them, and even the jarred minced garlic, that would be a fine substitution. I want you to make these recipes your own. I want you to love them. I want your family to think they're amazing and delicious. So if there's a certain ingredient or way that you like, go for it. Like, if these are foolproof, you're not going to mess them up. Let's do our honey sriracha chicken. I love this recipe. It's so good. Really simple. So it does call for sriracha. It's not super spicy. Don't be afraid. We're only adding 2 tablespoons of it. And the flavor is so good. If you don't have sriracha, I would highly recommend buying it just for this recipe. It's really, really good. And then we're going to add honey. That helps balance this out, and then it doesn't taste spicy. It's really family friendly if you are cooking for kids. So we'll add our honey. And then we need some soy sauce. Okay. If you're cooking for someone who's gluten-free, just make sure to use gluten-free soy sauce. Make sure it says that on the label. It really is easy to make these meals for anyone on a special diet. They're gluten-free, dairy-free. I have a bunch of vegetarian recipes, as well as Whole30, paleo, keto, like you name it. Crock-pot recipes are great for different diets. All right, let's move on. We're already on recipe number 5. Like I told you, these were easy. So this is sweet and sour barbecue meatballs. I love this recipe. This is another one that we just ate the other day because I had prepped these last week in practice. It's so good. It's so easy. We serve these with rice. I have a programmable rice cooker too, which is really easy and just makes like a simple side dish. I would say that varying the texture of your side dishes is a really easy way to not feel like you're eating something mushy if you're eating from the crock pot every night. Now, if your crock pot is making really mushy things, my first bit of advice would be to cook things for less time. You're probably overcooking the food. I have a programmable crock pot. It has a timer. It was probably $40 on Amazon. I already put the link below this video so you can check it out. But I just set the amount of time. It may only be 4 hours, 6 hours, and then it switches to warm. And it is totally fine if it sits on warm for hours. If it's like 4 more hours, it's fine. I do this all the time, no problem. So that's your answer if your food is getting overcooked or if you're out of the house for really long hours. I would highly recommend just getting a programmable crock pot. They're not super expensive and they will change your life. I mean, a lot of times I'm home all day and I still rely on my crock pot because I would not trust myself to remember what time to turn it off or whatever. So I highly, highly recommend that. All right. Now, what I'm adding, these are my sweet and sour barbecue meatballs. I am adding some chopped peppers. These are all sweet peppers. Tell your kids, they're not spicy. They're healthy and delicious and sweet. So if you have picky kids, don't worry. I have 5 of them. They are all picky in different ways. I have a couple of meat eaters, a couple of kids who aren't crazy about meat, some who like broth, some don't like broth. And I feel like you can make it work if you, oh, I need my pineapple. If you just vary those side dishes. Sorry about that. I went ahead and bought a pre-cored pineapple. You don't have to. You can go ahead and peel or cut the skin off the pineapple yourself, or you could substitute canned pineapple. I think canned pineapple is a little bit more sweet, but if that's what you like, if that's what you have on hand, I say go ahead and use it. So we're adding our pineapple. That just makes this dish like really sweet and delicious. And then you get to decide what kind of barbecue sauce you use. So if you want to pick something a little bit spicier to balance out the sweet, you can. My kids don't like super spicy food, so I am just using like a regular original barbecue sauce. And I'm just going ahead and dumping in the whole bottle. That's it. You may have seen me, I just wiped my hands on my apron. This is like my lifeline of freezer cooking because it has this towel attached. So it's my reusable reusable paper towel when I'm making these meals. My mom made this for me. She does sell them on Etsy. I put the link below. Last meal, number 6, sausage and peppers. I love this recipe because it can be cooked in the oven. So I think I told you that I really wanted to include a lot of variety in these meals. I wanted a variety of tastes, textures, cooking methods. I wanted you to see how you could eat these all the time if you wanted to. You don't have to. Whenever they're in the freezer, they are good at least 3 months. Now, I will tell you that I've never had a freezer meal go bad. And if you have a deep freezer, they would last even longer. But our freezer meals don't normally last very long because we eat all of them. When I was prepping these meals last week to practice for today's class, we have already eaten 2 of them. We are having another one for dinner tonight. And I can tell you, we're going to eat the others like very soon. We're not going to wait because it's just so great to have meals on hand, ready to go, healthy, delicious, kid-friendly, and not have to stress about dinner. It's like dinner's already done. All right. Adding some orange pepper. Okay. I think you'll see that like my ingredients are dwindling here, which is amazing. That means we're almost at the end of the prep. Sometimes people ask me, do freezer meals actually taste good? And I want to assure you today, yes, they taste good. They're delicious. I wouldn't eat these every day if they didn't taste good. They're delicious. All the meals that I'm going to share with you, all the recipes I'm going to share with you are ones we have made many, many times. And not only do I make them many times myself before I ever share them on my blog or in my cookbooks, but then a lot of times once they get shared, then we have thousands of people who try them and we leave comments. So I want you to feel confident that when you make any of my recipes, they are going to be delicious the very first time. Whenever I write a new recipe, I ask myself, would I make this again if I had company coming over? So that's kind of like my standard. That's how good I want the recipe to be before I share it online. I don't want it to be so-so. I don't want this to be something you found on Pinterest and you made it and then it was a flop. Okay, I added olive oil, garlic powder. I need some basil and oregano. Okay. One of the great things about making all these meals at once is it's all out at once. You only have to clean up once. So you're saving all that time too. And you'll see, I only use a cutting board and a knife. Like I'm going to put some of that in my dishwasher. So the cleanup is really, really quick. Let's go ahead and add the meat to these bags. I already added all the sauces, the seasonings, the veggies. Let me grab my meat from my fridge. Since this is such a quick prep session, it would be fine to add the meat as I go, but I just want to show you when I'm normally making freezer meals, I do make them like this. I add all the meat at the end. The nice thing about that too is if you're using your cutting board for trimming fat and you're using your hands in the chicken and stuff, you only have to wash your hands, wash your cutting board one time. So I like saving it to the end. Just trim the fat for my lemon pepper chicken. Those are chicken breasts. Next, we're going to do ground chicken for our Asian chicken lettuce wraps. Everything is being added raw. This is totally safe. Your freezer is 0 degrees. Nothing's going to grow in there. And then you're going to fully cook it in your crock pot or your Instant Pot or your oven or your stovetop before you eat a single bite. So please do not stress about that. Let's do our pork roast for our shredded pork tacos. I like to cut the fat off before I put it in the freezer bag. That way when it's done cooking, I don't have to worry about the fat. My kids are kind of weird about fat on meat. But if you want to leave it on and worry about it later, go for it. That's totally fine for any of my recipes. Would save you a little prep time, and a lot of it will cook off anyway. I will tell you, whenever I got this pork roast, it was actually buy one, get one free. So the great thing about freezer meals is that I was able to get 2 pork roasts for the price of 1. And then I can freeze one of them at least. So it doesn't feel like we're having pork again. We just had pork yesterday. Like, it can be frozen up to 3 months. So you can really take advantage of a lot of sales. I'll tell you, I actually bought 4 pork roasts because they were buy one, get one, and I made some cranberry pork too. So I love these freezer meals because they're so affordable. Even by taking advantage of the sales at your grocery store, you don't have to do coupons. I think you'll see what a variety of meat I use too. So I'm using sausage links for the sausage and peppers. I did ground chicken, I did stewed chicken, I did pork roast, and the very last one is meatballs. Now I'm using a bag of frozen meatballs. They're really easy. My kids love them. If you want to make your own meatballs, please do. You can add them to the bag raw, or if they're pre-cooked, that's fine too. All right, I'm just gonna clean this up and wash my hands really quickly. At this point, all 6 meals have been prepped. Like, they're that easy. We have 6 dinners that we can make like this during the week. I want to seal these bags for my freezer. And how I do that is I'll seal the top to about 1 inch or 2 at the end. Then I try to roll them to get all the air out. Seal it the rest of the way. And I stack these in my freezer so they don't take up a lot of space. I prefer name brand freezer bags. You can try, I've had some of the cheaper ones leak, so I do like the Hefty or the Ziploc. They seem to work the best for me. We're just stacking these up. These meals do not have to be thawed before cooking. All of the newer crock pots, I've been reading their manuals, and they say you can add the meals raw, frozen, sorry. So that means when you're ready to cook this, I'll do a demo, but when you're ready to cook it, all it needs to be is thawed enough to get it out of the bag. So you might want to rinse this under some water just so that none of your seasonings get left in here, but then you'll just add it right to your crock pot. Or your Instant Pot, same thing with your Instant Pot. I add those completely frozen. I do thaw, if I'm going to make, let's say, the Asian chicken lettuce wraps on the stovetop, I don't like to add big frozen thing to the stovetop. So I would thaw that in the refrigerator overnight, or add it to the refrigerator at least halfway through the day. You can put that in water, let it soak for maybe 15 minutes. That would be completely fine. Or transfer it to a microwavable dish just to thaw it enough you can break it up. Okay, I'm really trying to squeeze that air out. Ooh! We lost a couple meatballs. Let's try that again. All right. Okay. All right, you can see these don't take up a whole lot of space in my freezer. So I'm going to go ahead and add them. And I want to show you just a quick demo of how you would cook these meals. So let's say it's morning, I'm ready for like a really easy dinner. I don't want to stress when I get home from work. So I would just grab a meal from my freezer. I'm going to pick the salsa verde shredded pork because that's what's actually in my crock pot. Now, like I said, if this is frozen completely, you'll want to thaw it just a little bit, at least run it under water to get all the sauces and spices off of it. Then, let's see if I can get my crock pot out here so you can see it without unplugging it. All you're going to do is dump this into your crock pot, put the lid on. I'm not getting messy. I'm not opening cans. Dinner took like less than 60 seconds. Since I have this programmable one, I would just I always cook on low, and then I would adjust the timer for however long it needs to cook. It's that simple. Let me show you with my Instant Pot. You may not be familiar with cooking totally assembled freezer meals in your Instant Pot. How I do it is I would take this meal, dump it in. See if I can do that without looking. Okay. You're going to want to saute for 5 minutes. If this meal is completely frozen, the saute for 5 minutes just lets a little bit of liquid out, which is important for the Instant Pot. Then I do pressure cook, and I would set it for the amount of time. I would say for a roast, I would do a full hour. If it's one of the other meals with like chicken breast, 20 minutes would be fine. And then I do a natural release. So I just think that makes the meat more tender. That's it. Totally hands off. Your dinner is done. I like serving these meals with really easy side dishes like rice, salad. You can mix it up. Like when I make chili, I do chips and cheese. That really adds a lot of texture to the meal, and it gives you a lot of options. So let's say I might not eat any chips on my chili, but my son is going to eat every single bite is in a chip. Or my daughter might crush them all up and puts them on the top. But it just shows you how these meals can work for different people, even if they're picky eaters or if people just like their meals served a different way. It's absolutely easy to do that. So I am going to send you all of my recipes, my shopping list, my labels when this is over. But I want to take a minute and I want to just show you, for the people who are like, I'm in, my life has changed, like I'm ready to pick these recipes. I want to modify and make my own. I want to show you a really quick shot of our membership site because you have a chance to actually see how it works. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see what I see when I log in. And whenever you're logged into the site, you can see photos of every single recipe in there. So I'm just scrolling down, looking for a recipe that might look good to make. These are all like those easy freezer meals, can be made without any cooking ahead of time. Then I go to the search bar. I'm going to type in chicken so that, let's say I want to make a chicken recipe this week. Then scroll down. I'm just looking for what looks good. What would my kids want to eat? What are they not going to fight me about? Okay, Cool Ranch chicken. This is a really popular recipe. This is fan favorite. So you can see all the ingredients, really simple. This has a lot of spices, not spicy though. It says how to freeze it for later, how to cook in the crock-pot Instant Pot, full nutritional info. All of my recipes have full nutritional info. And if you click add to shopping cart, let's see if I can just add that. All right. So I want to show you a couple other recipes. Let's go back to the home and do another search. So I know people, I know there are people doing like different diets. So I want to show you can search based on diet, dairy-free, gluten-free, keto, paleo, vegetarian, whole food, which is Whole30. Let's go to gluten-free. You can select gluten-free and then scroll down and see which recipes are either naturally gluten-free or can be really easy substituted to make them gluten-free. All right, I am going to select the Instant Pot beef teriyaki. I love this recipe. My kids love it. Make sure you use gluten-free soy sauce. Again, full cooking instructions, nutritional info, add to shopping cart. That's how quick it can be to pick these meals. And let's search by protein. Now, I have a pound of ground beef in my fridge. I don't want that to go bad, so I'm definitely going to search by beef right now. And just look for something that looks good, something that I would want to make this week. This hamburger vegetable soup. Okay, my kids love this one. This is a winner. And I would just click add to shopping list. And let's search by cooking method. I told you there's a lot of different ones, crock pot, but others too. Let's say stovetop. I love an easy 15-minute meal. If I didn't prep ahead of time, these I can just make on my stovetop. These are specifically designed for the stovetop. So we have Tuscan chicken tortellini. This is my family's favorite. We're definitely making this one. Simple ingredients, healthy, delicious. Add to shopping list. And I am excited to show you, this is my favorite part. Okay, shopping list. We're gonna click into our shopping list because the magic has happened. The membership site has created a shopping list for us based on those recipes I selected. And it's super organized. You can see by different aisles at the grocery store. You can see everything you need, and I'm just gonna cross off all the things that I already have that I don't need to buy at the grocery store so that I know what I need. And you can change the serving size. So if I am cooking for more people, I'll take it up. Cooking for less, take it down. And as I'm doing this, it's changing the ingredients below, which is great. It's easy to double. And if I go to print menu, this will go ahead and take that full shopping list that I just looked at and print it so I could take that to the grocery store. You could also view it online. But when I end up making the meals, I do like having them out in front of me because this also prints all the recipes. So literally in like the last 2 minutes, I showed you how I could just pick those recipes, generate the shopping list, and I'm like gone at the store. And I have my recipes ready to go to them when I am ready to prep them. So, okay, what else can I tell you? If you know you want to make these, you're in. Like, you're joining Freezer Meal Pro today. All you have to do is go to freezermealpro.com. That takes you to the sales page. I'll just show you what it looks like so you know what to do. And I want to point out, this is our sale price. So you join for $69. This is a one-time fee, not monthly. You're paying one time. This is for your entire life. And you can use it every week or every month as much as you want. $69 is our New Year's sale. On January 1st, we offer this price because everyone's trying to eat healthier, get organized for the new year. I realize I'm doing this class like 2 weeks late, so I'm going to offer you that sale price again. So you can join for $69. We only offer this twice a year. The next one won't be until August. So if you want to join, I really want you to do that now so that you get that sale price, you get in, and you have your choice of like all the freezer meals you want to make. I'm just scrolling down, just showing you like what's on the sales page. It gives you a lot more info about why I love Freezer Meal Pro. But anyway, you would go to add a cart if you were ready to join, and then a coupon code. I created one for you today. It's called Live Class. All you would do is type in Live Class, and you are going to save 20%. So this is off of the $69. You would save an additional $13.80. Now, this is the absolute cheapest price you're ever going to join Freezer Meal Pro for. So please, if you want to join, like, do it now. I know someone's going to email me a month from now when it's $97 and say, remember that sale or that video or that class? And I'll be like, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait till August. So if you know that you're ready for this, I want you to do it now. And I'm just really excited for you. So you enter your name, and it's really easy to join. We don't need a ton of info from you. So you put in your name and your email address. You hit next, you would add your billing details, and then you would be in. And that's when I would send you an email where you log in, as well as I'll send you like some tips about how to use the site. And I want to point out that Freezer Meal Pro also comes with all of my cookbook ebooks. There's a download section, and it has, I believe, 20 different ebooks that have printable freezer meal labels, full grocery list. There's an Instant Pot cheat sheet. There are printable labels. This is like the ultimate freezer meal tool. But anyway, it's really important to me to get to Q&A because I'm glad that you're here. I'm really, really excited for you. So I want to answer anything that I didn't already tell you when I was making these meals, or maybe you just need to hear it again. I want to answer your questions. So I left a lot of time. We still have 15 minutes. My husband Andy was taking some notes as people were typing in questions as we go. And please feel free to add questions now as well, because I'm going to answer them. I told you I wanted you to leave here confident, absolutely 100% ready to make those meals. So ask me anything. Don't be shy. Okay, Andy is going to give me some questions that he pulled out of our comments. Can I split these recipes into 2 bags? How would you adjust the time? There are only 2 of us. Beth, I love you. Thank you for asking this, because I wanted to answer this during today's class. So what I would suggest, if you want to make less, I would take 1 recipe, split it into 2 freezer bags. That way you're still using all the ingredients. Because if you use half a lemon or half a pepper, what are you going to do with the other half? I mean, you could, but then it might end up being in a recipe with a half a can of beans or something. So if it works for you, I would do 2 bags and then cook it in a smaller crock pot. I would recommend 2 to 4 quarts, same amount of cooking time. This is what I used to do when I made freezer meals for my grandparents. They were living independently at the time. I would make them a bunch of meals. I'd just do 2 of the same, and it would use all the ingredients. They would get double the number of meals. If you like leftovers, I would even make them as is if there's only 2 of you, because these are great for lunch. My husband and I love to eat these for lunch the next day instead of sandwich. So you might even want to make them as is, but a really easy way to do less would be to do the 2 freezer bags. And then if you're cooking for more people, you could either do 2 bags, like double the ingredients, or you could even add an extra pound of meat. That's like a really easy way to make more servings. If you want to keep everything else the same, you could just vary the amount of meat in the recipe. Okay. Thank you, Beth. I hope that answered your question. I'm glad you asked that. All right. Carrie says, pro-con for Instant Pot versus crock pot. I love this. Oh my gosh. Because we have those crock pot lovers, diehard crock pot fans, like me. And then we have our Instant Pot lovers. I do like the Instant Pot and I use it. So I do like both. Here's why I love my crock pot. I put the food in the morning, I come home, it's done. The Instant Pot still requires cooking time. And I know it's called instant, but it's not instant. It has to heat up to pressure and then cook and then release pressure. So I find even my quickest Instant Pot freeze meals will take 45 minutes. A lot of them take an hour or longer. So for me, I tend to like the crock pot more just because it's ready, and normally we're ready to eat and don't want to spend another hour cooking, even though it is very hands-off. So Instant Pot, again, it's totally hands-off like the crock pot. Once the food is in, it's just going to cook, so you can go about and do other things while it's in there. I do like the Instant Pot for those days when I don't plan ahead, because there are 100% days when I don't get something in my crock pot in the morning. It might be 11 a.m. and I'm thinking, what am I making for dinner tonight? And my options are to run out to the grocery store or to grab something from my freezer and put it in my Instant Pot instead, which is genius. Yes, thank you. I love my Instant Pot. So then you could either add it earlier if you're at home. You could start cooking it at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and it has a warm feature. It can sit on warm until cooking time or dinner time, or even start at 5 o'clock. If you don't care, if you're not in a rush when you get home, use your Instant Pot. You love your Instant Pot? Go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. And as long as the recipe has a cup of liquid, most of my recipes do. Some of them even have less and it still works in the Instant Pot, to be honest. But normally Instant Pot says it needs about a cup of liquid to reach pressure. So yeah, they'll work in the Instant Pot as well. And I have an Instant Pot cheat sheet in my freezer membership and on the bundle. And a lot of my recipes have the Instant Pot directions as well. Maybe let's move on. I think we got that. Okay. Oh, good one. You guys are asking the best questions. Okay, so Amanda says, what about frozen chicken? I buy frozen chicken. Can I use that in my meals? Yes, absolutely. Here's what you do, Amanda. You add the frozen chicken to the bags completely frozen. Do not thaw it and then refreeze it without cooking it. That's when it starts to get not safe to do in the freezer. But if it's frozen, you can add it to the bags frozen, and that way they're totally assembled and frozen. Or if you want, just wait to add it the day of cooking. If you want to assemble the other ingredients, kind of like how I did my assembly line at the beginning without the meat, you could do that. You could even use smaller bags if you want, if you're not adding the meat. And then the day of cooking, just add the frozen chicken in with everything else. Like, that's totally fine. So yes, you can use frozen meat. Even if you stock up on sales, you could, if you don't have time to make freezer meals that week, you could just freeze the meat individually and add it later. These meals are really versatile, really easy, very hard to mess up. So I want you to make them whatever is best for you, whatever works for you, the systems you already have in place, the ingredients you like. That's how you're going to like them, and keep making them over time. All right. Tiffany, when you use ground beef in a recipe, do you find a lot of fat grease in the crock pot? Do you drain it? I don't drain it. I honestly do not. I do recommend using lean ground beef. So I would say at least 93%. Sometimes I use less, but you could say 93, 95% lean ground beef. It's really not greasy. A lot of times the ground beef recipes would be more like that hamburger vegetable soup or like chili. There's a lot of other ingredients. It's all mixed together. I think the meat, it's hard to describe. It's almost like more tender because it cooked in the crock pot instead of a pan. So we actually prefer the taste when it cooks raw with everything else. So the only thing you do is you break up the meat after cooking. So if you add that frozen, it comes from the freezer, the frozen ground beef, and it's raw, it kind of cooks more in a block. So then the cooking directions would say break up the beef and stir before serving. But no, I know a lot of people aren't familiar with recipes that can be frozen raw, and that's why I'm excited for you, because this is life-changing. Like, this isn't just your short-term solution. This is what I do every week, every month, every year. I've been doing this for 8 years. Like I said, I started when I had 2 kids and I felt overwhelmed, and now I have 5 kids. So my overwhelm has only grown exponentially, but I find that these meals work. They are our lifeline, and I'm excited, like, just that how much they can help you too. And I know that they work, and so I'm just so excited for everybody who's here. Like, thank you for coming. We still have a couple minutes. I can answer a couple more questions. A. Stevens, do you find all vegetables work well frozen, or are there any to avoid? Love it. Great question. I'm going to tell you one to avoid, and that's broccoli. I don't know why, but I find that fresh broccoli oxidizes in the freezer if it hasn't been pre-cooked. So I really like to freeze everything raw. If I am making a recipe with broccoli, I either do frozen broccoli florets, so you could add those to your meal, or like if I'm going to do beef and broccoli, where that broccoli is like a huge ingredient, I just wait to add that until I'm actually cooking it. So I would cook the beef all day in my crock pot, and then the last 30 to 60 minutes, I would add the fresh broccoli to the crock pot, and it just gets like al dente, and it's perfect. It's so good. All right, now that is an exception. Besides broccoli, trying to think if there's any. The other produce item that can be tricky is potatoes. So I find that sweet potatoes work better than white potatoes or russet. Sometimes people have issues with the white potatoes turning black in the freezer if they're not cooked. I don't know. I mean, I make them a lot and they're fine, but I have heard from enough people that there can be issues. I think it helps if there's liquid in the bag. I think it helps if the meals are sealed quickly, if the potatoes are fresh. There are a lot of things that can help you avoid any problems with them. I will say that all of my recipes are adapted for this freezing raw method. So you're never going to see one of my recipes that tells you to put raw broccoli in the freezer. That exists on Pinterest. People will tell you to do that. They don't know what they're doing. Or the potatoes, I'm going to tell you to put liquid in there so that they don't turn black or whatever. I always do step by step, explain exactly what you need to do, so that you can trust my recipes and trust that they're going to work out for you. So that's a great question. I would think that those are the only 2 things that come to mind in terms of vegetables that would go maybe not bad or oxidized in the freezer if they're raw. It does help if there's liquid in the bag, if there's sauce. It always helps if your produce is fresh. Sometimes people wait until their produce is bad. I hate to say this, but it's if your carrots are bending in half, they're just not good. Just because you put it in the freezer doesn't mean it's gonna taste great tomorrow. No, it's too late. So that would be true of any type of produce. If you can get fresh peppers, and if you go to the store and you look at them and they look good, those would be the ones that you want to put in your meals. But overall, everything, I use a ton of fresh produce, vegetables. even fruits in my recipes. I have some with oranges, pears, and they're like all delicious. They're great. Like that's how I like to cook. I love healthy, fresh ingredients, and they turn out so good. Like don't even worry, it's gonna be good. All right, let's see if we maybe have one or two more questions. Rick, yes, is it okay to use same cutting board and knife? Yeah, you got this. So one of the things I love about prepping a lot of meals is that you're only washing everything once. So whenever I get off this class, I'm just gonna put my knife in my dishwasher, my cutting board in my dishwasher, my measuring spoons, like I'm done. The cleanup is so simple. I use the same thing. Now, I wouldn't chop a bunch of veggies, put them in a bag, chop chicken, put it in a bag, and then go back to veggies. You don't want to keep switching without washing because you're touching them and it's just, no. If you're making a bunch of meals, I would do what I did today, and that is do all of the produce, the spices, the seasonings. If you have any canned goods, like I like canned beans, or sometimes I use tomato sauce, you would add all of that and then do the meat. So your cutting board only touches your meat one time. Your hands only are touching the meat one time, and then you're washing them before you do anything else. So it's totally fine. You don't have to worry about like any kind of cross-contamination or anything else. It'll save you time and it's perfectly safe. So good question. I hope that helps. Amanda, when using crock-pot or Instant Pot, does changing the amount of meat and veggies affect the cooking time, or does the cooking time remain the same? I think it stays the same, honestly. In your crock-pot, that's why I recommend a smaller crock pot. So let's say you have one chicken breast. Like if you're cutting a recipe in half, you literally have one chicken breast. You want a smaller crock pot. There's a higher likelihood it's going to dry out or that it might burn, especially if you're not watching the cooking time or you don't have a programmable crock pot. If you are doubling the recipe, don't worry about it. You're fine. If you're using your Instant Pot, my understanding of the Instant Pot is that it doesn't matter. That once it reaches pressure, it cooks the food fine. I mean, all of my directions are for like almost like a solid block. So the size of it doesn't exactly matter. Once it reaches pressure on that Instant Pot, it should be the same. I haven't found a huge difference. So I would say if you're using the smaller crock pot, then no, all the cooking times would be the same. But I'm glad you asked that. That is a common question. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question because I want to be respectful of your time, and I know we're getting close to the end of our hour. Jennifer says, can you cook the meat first? Yes, totally, you can. I know a lot of people will cook ground beef in bulk. They'll even make packages of ground beef. If you have that, sure, go for it. Use it. If you love seared meat for your pot roast and you want to do that, you can. You'll want to make sure it's cooled before you add it to your freezer bag. But if you love it that way, go for it. Is it going to take more time? Yes. Are you going to have dirty pans you have to wash? Yes. But these are your meals. It's for you, your family. Like, cook them however you want. They'll taste amazing no matter what. They're going to work for you. If you have other questions, like lingering questions, you can send me an email. My email is kelly@thefamilyfreezer.com. If you go to thefamilyfreezer.com, you will find me, and I would be happy to answer your questions later. But I hope that this helped you. I hope you are leaving here with that confidence that I talked about. You've realized this is not hard. You got this. This is going to change your life. I know it can. It's absolutely changed mine. I will send you all of my recipes, including the shopping list and the labels. So then you are set. You're ready to jump in. If you know you want to join Freezer Meal Pro, please don't forget to join while you can with the sale price. The sale is good for 1 week only. This is it. Don't let yourself forget. Go to Freezer Meal Pro while it's on your mind and use that coupon code. The coupon code's only good for 24 hours. So that live class, again, I'll email you. You don't have to write it down, but live class, that's going to save you another 20%. I want you to get in there. I want you to get in for the cheapest price that you can, and then to just like use it and use it and use it and make tons of freezer meals and save yourself that time and dream up all the ways that you're going to use this newfound time when you are not cooking dinner. So thank you so much for joining me. Like, I just get so excited teaching other people about freezer meals and explaining what I've learned over the past 8+ years. So thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.